Hello and welcome to Monkey's Paper Palooza Craft Corner. Today we are going to be finishing up our two-part series on the fun ways to use alphabet dies. And we are going to be doing it today with a set from Concord and Ninth called the Double Cut Alphabet Dies. And what's nice about these dies is they are not just a single alphabet die, they are a double, which means you get the inner part and you get this little outer layer here that makes a almost cutout letter too. So you can get almost three ways to use this. So you get your inner, your outer, and you can use them in combo to inlay. So they're a great little thing. And we're also going to be using one heart die from Simon Says Stamps. This is their Clipping Hearts wafer die from their Hey Love collection, as well as some hearts from Cottage Cuts with the stitched heart dies. And we're going to be making some, of course, Valentine's cards, because this is what we're getting close to now. We're getting close to Valentine's Day. And what's nice is with these dies, you can have the freedom to make any word you like. Word combo, word stuff. Because when you buy a regular die, you are kind of stuck with the script. You're stuck with the way they put the word, and you cannot mix and match and put what you want to do. Now with these alphabet dies, you can make your own sayings, you can make your own quotes. You're not stuck with cursive writing, you can go straight, you can split them up, you can do different patterns with them, you can go in and out of different colors. It gives you so much more freedom. And this kit also gives you some of the exclamation points, as well as dot dots for making a kind of sentiment that goes on. You can make words like joy, love, baby, mom, dad, whatever you want without having to buy 100 dies to get the word. And like I said, mixing and matching, especially with these double cut dies, is really fun because, let's just say it, you're not stuck to just one single letter. You can inlay them, you can put different layers of them. You can put an outline and an inner together, or you can separate them, make them look all funky, right? You can use it as a cutout to make an inlay, or just one that's kind of free-floating for a cutout. You can do all kinds of things. And this, like I said, gives you so much more freedom to make the sentiments you want on your cards. So let's get started. So the first one I'm going to do is going to be a cutout one with XOXO being our thing. And that's the freedom you get with this. You can do XOXO. And I'm using some pink swirled pattern cardstock. And I'm just going to stick our little hearts, Cottage Cuts stitch heart die on there with, of course, some pretty little heart washi tape. Why not? Let's go hearts all the way here. It is going to be going into Valentine's Day. So I'm going to make sure with my Wendy, Vecchi Make Art Station to line up my wonderful little heart here. And I'm going to put this on a coordinating kind of red and pink swirled paper, very similar in patterns. And I'm going to take some pearl cardstock and maybe some glitter, we'll see. And we're going to make the XOXO in this. So the X's I'm going to do in the X, and the O's I'm going to do in hearts. So we got our first little X here, and I'm going to split them apart here so we can kind of have them together. All right, so we got the little tiny X. That's a small little X. You get a very thin X with it. It's not chunky or thick. You get a really nice one, but you get a chunkier one with the outline. So depending on what style you want to do, you can do either one. This card, we are going to do a combo of both. And I also cut a little pearl because I just thought the outline itself on this pattern was just too much. So we're going to put a little pearl inlay for this one. So I'm going to take my Nuvo glue pen and I'm going to just trim this down a little bit because it didn't cut totally clean for my liking. There we go, that looks better. And I'm going to give some dots on the back here. And we are going to line that up next to the little cutout heart. Isn't that pretty? And then I'm going to let that dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to get my little inlay for inside it. Make sure we're going the right way. There we go. So there is our X for our first XO. Now, I was going to use the red part and do it that way, but I think my best way is to actually do it in a corresponding cutout. And I cut another little heart with the Cottage Cuts die, the same one I used for the first heart, out of the glitter heart. I'm going to cut this right into the thing alongside the heart, just to show you how you can do a cutout with these and you get that bigger cutout. So I'm just going to pop this off here, and as you see, we got a little X here. And there we go. I figured that way it kind of gives it a blending, a better blending than I was going to get before. Now I'm going to stick this other little glitter heart down, and that's going to give me my XOXO. That dry, make sure that X on top is dry completely, because sometimes the Nuvo glue takes a little longer to dry, and I'd rather make sure it's completely dry. Alright, so we're going to let that sit for a little bit. And I wanted to do an inlay and then also do cutouts because I wanted to show you how you can do a raised cutout without doing, say, a shaker card. Because sometimes you only think you can do the raised cards for shaker cards. Well, you can also do it just for openings, just to give some little contrast. So I'm going to take some Scotch squares and just go around the XOXO to give it a little support. And then I'm going to do some strips going down just to give it some support on the sides. Box it in a little bit. Go. And then we're going to tear these all off. Might do one more square just to make sure we're flat enough. And that's what it's going to look like. You could do this also if you want to cut out a craft foam and adhere it onto the back just to give it that one. Or if you have thicker Scotch tape, you can do it that way too and make sure it's nice and thick. There we go. So I got these beautiful sequins that are from this wonderful kit from this company. And they are fun. They're like pinks and hearts and stars. And I think they're just perfect for this card. So I'm going to add a sequin to the little glitter heart. And then I'm going to add a couple more of these sequins around them. I'm using my pickup stick and also my Nuvo glue. Apologize now if it seems a little dark in some of these videos. We're in the middle of a storm cycle here, and my sun kept on coming in and going away, and it's making some clips a little darker than the other. And even with my artificial lighting, it's kind of making issues. So you may have some times where it seems a lot brighter and sometimes it seems a lot darker. Mother Nature has her way of doing that. Little heart there. Oh, isn't that pretty? And you can see that three-dimensional feel to it without going over the top. So for this next one, I'm using paper from the BU collection from PinkFresh. I love her paper collection, especially her double-sided, because they often very nicely correspond with each other. So for this one, I'm going to do a kind of raised inlay of the word love on this panel. And it's kind of a nice little patchwork panel, and I really love it for that because it's very pretty. And like I said, here comes the sunlight now. I can't get good lighting no matter what I'm doing here today. Mother Nature doesn't know what she wants to be, sunny or cloudy today. So we're going to line up on the Makes Art Station by Wendy Vecchi, the word love. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but she just came out with a mini version of this, as well as a bunch of little rulers you can use on this. Make Art Station that makes making corners easier and stuff like that. So there, she's got a big release coming out on her products, and I'm so excited to see if I can see what she's got coming out, because I love this Make Art Station. It does make aligning a breeze, And I know I'm straight and I'm not like guessing and having a ruler slipping. It's so beautiful and magnetic. And I'm excited to see all the corners she has coming. Now, instead of doing the outer layer and then doing the inlay, I am going to do the opposite. I'm going to take the little inner inlay and just take the outline of the cutout. And that is going to give me kind of like a little cutout space around it, which is kind of fun. And I'm going to be putting this on a seafoam green card form. Because you know what? Valentine's Day doesn't always have to be all about red and pinks. You know, and what makes it nice is when you don't go all these red and pinks, that the card becomes a little bit more universal, because you can also use this card for weddings, for engagement parties, or just to tell someone that you love them. Mother's Day. It makes it kind of universal that way. I mean, we got some pinks in here. I mean, we're not sticking totally away from the pinks, but we're kind of giving it a little bit more of a universal feel versus just Valentine's Day. So like I said, we're just going to inlay this inside the opening. So here's a different way to use those double cut dies. And what's nice, some of these letters you can just flip. You don't have to recut it, which is nice, because honestly, you don't want to waste paper if you don't have to. So if you can just flip them over and do it again, it works fantastic. That's what I did with these, a lot of these. There is that inlay. So I'm going to take some pretty seafoam sequins as well as some champagne pearl ones, and I am going to add some fun embellishments to this card. I made an announcement last week that we will be closing our sequin and supply store. I am going to be focusing more on making videos and collaborating with other companies to provide for you more fun card making tips, as well as a new blog. I'm going to refocus myself onto that. As much as I love providing you guys sequins and supplies, I decided the one thing that brings me the most joy is actually sharing card making with you guys. So I'd rather focus on that. So there are those sequins on there, as you can see. But I want to add a little something extra. I'm going to get some of my Hero Arts lacquer pen, and I am going to lacquer over these letters. But like I was saying, you know, when you're getting a little overwhelmed and you're feeling like things are going too fast, sometimes you got to cut some things down. And when I was going through my thought process, what brings me joy? What do I want to purge out of my life so I can actually have more time to do the things that I enjoy, whether it be with you guys making cards or with my family? I decided that putting little sequins in a cellophane bag and packaging things and posting it and listing it and getting everything ready and then ordering things was not bringing me joy. It was actually more time consuming than it was worth. And I love making cards. I love sharing techniques with you guys. I love blogging. So I'd rather do that. And that will free me up to actually do some more fun things with you guys in the future. So look forward to that. And there is that card. Isn't that beautiful? It now has that little gloss over the word love. So we're going to do another cutout card. I'm going to use this beautiful pink side of this PinkFresh paper. This is from that same BU collection. I'm not so crazy about the dark color on the back, so we're going to X-nay that, but we are going to just cut out a bigger heart this time. And I'm going to make this one into a shaker card. So we're going to start with this big cutout heart, and I'm going to get some more of that pink and red pearl paper, and we are going to cut out the words "love" in it. And we are going to kind of make some fun little inlays, use of all the different ways you can use these dies, and kind of show you how you can do kind of mix match with them. And that is exactly what we're going to do. So the first one, we're going to cut out our L and our V. And we're going to have some fun with this and make some fun letters. Here we go. And then I got my red. Our dies on that and cut those out. So we have all our words cut out. I need to fix this V a little bit because it's a little messed up. So I'm going to line this up again and get my trusty little ruler here so that I can line up the words for you all nice and straight. You know, the inner layer, not the outer layer. And then we're going to use the inlay technique again, and then just the outline. So you're going to get like all three of the different ways you can use this letter in this one card. So it's can actually do with these double cut dies, because not only are you, like I said, getting in one die set, you're getting 3 different ways to use it. 4 if you just use it for cutouts. But you're also being more versatile. It means less things in your storage that is going to take up all this space that you may not have in your craft room. I know a lot of crafters, they have basically a kitchen table with a little cart, and that's their craft room. And you know what? We all have different size craft rooms, and sometimes storage is not a plenty. And even in my studio, I notice I don't sometimes run out of space. Now, I just looked at this card, and I kind of do not like that pink L, only because it blends too well with the paper. So I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to take that out of there. So I'm going to do this inlay first, and then I'm going to cut another L. And I think I'm going to do it more in the red, only because I feel like it won't blend as well into the pink. Because when you look at that, you're not going to be able to read the L. So I'm going to pull that off. My glue hasn't completely dried, which is a good thing. And I'm going to take an L I already had cut in that, and I'm going to stick that on instead. There we go. That stands out a lot better. All right, so we've got inlaid, we have the outline, and now we're going to have the inner. Now that everything's dry, oops, and look at the sun is back out, as you guys can see by how bright it just got. Mother Nature, make up your mind. All right, so we are going to get our Judikins acetate window, get that ready to be put on this card. And there's that here. And then we are going to go around it with Scotch squares and make a window for our shaker guide. So first I'm going to do a little light frame because, well, honestly, the big thick ones are not going to fit so well around this little heart frame. And we're going to cut that in half. Go around it with these squares just to box it in a little bit. Usually I have in my supplies a thick Scotch tape too. But I have run out and have not yet got some from the store, so I am going to use the squares I have instead. And yes, it looks a little patchy, but it will at least still give it the amount of support. I have a lot of these squares. I usually buy them in bulk. All these little Scotch tape backs. So now we're going to put some little pink sequins. And then I'm going to take that sequence that I had earlier. I'll put a link down below for it about what name it is and stuff. Down below. There is that. Make sure we get some of those contrasting. They have some darker kind of brown sequins. And then of course we got a big panel. And like I always tell you, when you're making shaker cards, it's better to make your back sheet bigger than your front sheet. Because you can always cut down, but you can never make it bigger. Especially if you lay it crooked by accident. It happens a lot. Having your paper a little bit and being able to cut it down gives you that ability to make sure that you don't misjudge. So we are going to now adhere this panel, the shaker panel, onto our card form. And I'm doing this on a white pearl paper, just to give it some fun contrast. And we are now going to decorate it also with some of these sequins that match this panel. And we are going to get cut off. All right. Now we're going to go on to our third card. And this one we're going to do some ink splashing on some watercolor paper with our Distress Oxides. And I got my liquidized pearl spray that I make with my Perfect Pearls, just to give it a little bit of a pearlescent kind of design to it. And we're just going to ink splash this on our Tim Holtz mat here, get it all inky. That's one thing I do love about the Distress Oxides is you can go on with more colors and just keep on adding layer onto layer, versus with some of the regular Distress inks and other inks, sometimes they don't layer well. They kind of just bleed into each other and get a little muddy. This is nice because they do go on top of each other. So I'm going to add a little bit more red. Put some more color on this panel. It's all fun to be inky. Pearlescent water on it. There's some pink in it again, just to brighten it up a little bit. All right, that looks pretty good. So let that dry. We'll take my Chandler heat tool, and the one thing I do love about this Chandler heat tool is the low setting. Heat tools with a low setting are great for drying paint, and that's exactly what I'm going to use this for, is to dry my paint. And we went through this when I did a review of this, how I loved that the heat embossing tool had 2 settings, because honestly, we do multiple things when we do our card making. We do embossing powders, but we also dry a lot of paints and inks. All right, so now I am going to get the letters ready to make the word Love Us. And we're going to cut that out of a pearlescent paper. And I'm going to cut these into 2 different segments, because the love and the us are going to be used differently. All right, so I also cut out of some pink glitter, some hearts, as well as pink glitter and the pearl paper, some hearts as well as the inlay of the love. And now we're just going to lay out some of these hearts. So the first thing I'm going to lay out is the big heart. So I need to get my ruler here and just make sure we're going straight, because that's the most important part, is making sure your things are straight. I mean, you could go crooked if you want to, be creative as you want to. If being crooked is your creativity, go for it. If you want more straight things, sometimes measuring things out is a better way to do it. So just got smidgen myself up a little bit. And sorry, this is a little off screen, but you're seeing exactly what I'm doing. I'm putting a heart down on the bottom. And now I'm going to use my ruler by moving it up. And we are going to now lay out our love part of this card. So I'm going to take a little bit of paper underneath it, and I'm just going to dot this on there so I don't get it all over the mat. And with this little center part of this ruler, I'm able to start with the outer of the O. And then put a magnet on top of it to help the glue adhere. That's one of my favorite parts of this make art station, is you can literally just lay this down and let it sit without having to hold it down with your hands. Now I'm going to do the inlay. And then while that's drying, I'll do the V's inlay. Look at the sun really coming through now. You can see that reflection on my mat. Sorry about that. Like I said, the light's changing. We're getting little sun spots here and clouds the next minute. Makes it hard when you're making cards to get proper lighting. Even when my blinds down. See, it's starting to try to cloud up again. So we almost have this love completely put onto this card. Get our E ready, the inner inlay of it. And then we'll do the inner inlay of the L. Beautiful. So I'm going to scoot this down a bit and get ready for our second word, which is the us. You go down, scoot more. So let me move my magnets down there. Cover up my heart a little bit, but that's all right. We don't need it right this moment. So I'm going to center us on there. Oop, it's stuck to my magnet. Let me fix that quickly. I want to just slide it over slightly so I have room to do the S. Yeah, I'm really excited for the new moves Monkey's Paperpalooza is going to be making. We're changing it to more Monkey's Paperpalooza crafts, which means it's going to give us a little bit more freedom to maybe go past card making. And all I did is I added that little pink heart on the bottom on that heart, and then I put 4 corners of this belongings on there. So that way, since it's watercolor paper and it's a little warped from the watercolor, it won't buckle. All right, but like I said, we're going to be doing more stuff. We're going to be looking into journaling. We're going to be looking into stamping with journals, watercolor and journals. We're going to be looking into kids' crafts. I might even bring my boys into this. And looking more into what creativity is, how to create, how to have fun. The fun tools out there to create cards, stamping, paper crafts, maybe even doing the different little craft kits out there and kind of having fun with this, because card making is great, but there's so much we can do with paper, whether it be making juice tumblers with the new tumbler creator from We Are Memory Keepers, or making vinyl decals for things and projects. Isn't that pretty? And I just put some fun little sequins on there just to spunk it up a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be fun. So stay tuned for more videos coming up with more fun, creative things. So here comes that Simon Says stamp die. Isn't that beautiful? I love the layers of this heart die because I feel like it doesn't just give you cutouts, but it also gives you an outline. Plus you get all these little teeny little hearts you can reuse and even do inlay with. So I think it's a beautiful die for inlaying. So when I ordered this one, I was very excited. So that's exactly what we're going to do with this. We're going to inlay. So I'm taking some pearl paper. My light is changing around. I'm so sorry. And this is that same BU paper. I just flipped it around. And we are going to put this down first because I'm going to use this beautiful green polka dot. I think it's really fun. And we're just going to lay some of that. Make sure we got enough on the little hangout parts here. Usually I would do this on Ken Oliver Stick-It paper or something sticky, or a sticky adhesive sheet. That way I could inlay, but we're just going to go for it today. And I cut the inlay kind of out of pearl paper so that you're going to have a beautiful pearlescent shine around this. And we're going to inlay this inlay in there. But instead of worrying about where I'm going to stick it, I'm just going to go around these hearts with as much glue as I can, so that way the inlay sticks. And then I'm going to try to do the centers too, because we're going to put inlay in there. All those little hearts we have on the side, I'm going to flip them around and inlay them in. So they're the opposite side of the BU paper, which is that fun patchwork. And then we're going to stick these little magnets down on this Make Art station, and we are going to hold down that stuff while it dries. So here's our first little inlay, and since I already have that glue already on there, I don't have to reapply any more glue. Some of these hearts I do need a little bit more because I didn't get a lot in there. And we're just going to inlay it in like kind of like a patchwork pattern. This magnet, pull it down. But yeah, I'm so excited to keep showing you guys some more things, and I hope you guys will stay tuned as we expand more into more things we're doing. An upcoming video is going to have some really fun new techniques as well as some new product names that I haven't shown before. We have some new people that I am working with to bring you new fun products and stuff, and I'm so excited to show them to you. And there might be some prizes involved in the future too, so keep an eye out for that, because I am thinking more about doing little giveaways and fun stuff on our videos. So another thing to stay tuned for. Like I said, by getting rid of the supply shop, I'm able to give you guys a little bit more on this, which honestly, I think this is more fun to do and share than all the fun sequins that are out there. So we're just keep on inlaying these little hearts, and you're seeing how the little patchwork design's coming out in it. And we're going to go around and keep on inlaying these little hearts and make a fun little heart pattern. Oh, and there's our last little heart. So cute. Oh, this is so adorable. I'm so excited. This looks so pretty. So we're going to let that dry. And now my sun has gone away again. As you can see, it's getting darker in here. So I've also cut out in that same paper style, the BU paper, pink floral happy with a black outline, as well as a V-Day in the pink flower with a black inner. So we're going to kind of patchwork it and make a little fun with it. So we're going to line this up, and I'm going to just lay down our inlays until we get happy V-Day on there. But I really wanted to show you all the fun you can have with these and the different ways and variations you can use these dies. Because, like I said, alphabet and letter dies, as well as alphabet and letter stamps, give you a lot more freedom in your sentiments. You're not stuck to what a company makes for you. You can go and put whatever you want down, whatever you want to say. If you want to put a name on it, it gives you that freedom to do so. And a freedom that we really only got by getting like the die cut machines, like the Cricut and the Silhouette. It's nice to be able to do this in a metal die, because some of us may not have the income to buy, let's say, a $249 Cricut or a $200 Silhouette, or a scan and cut. I understand that happens to a lot of us, but we may have a little die cut machine that we can put our wafer dies through and make fun sentiments with. So this gives you that variation that you get with the Cricut and all these other ones without having to spend the big price point. Because these little dies, you can get them on sale. Sometimes they run around $20 to $10 to $20 depending on where you shop and where you buy them. And you know what? You got endless uses, because this is not just for one card. It's not a big investment. It's a small investment that you can get multiple cards out of. And it keeps you kind of able to do whatever you want to do. And all these fun little techniques you may want to do. Seriously, the sun's coming back. I never thought I'd be so upset to see sun going in and out, but hey, it's messing up my video here. So don't mind a little sun glare going on here. Joys of winter. Alright, so we almost got happy completely on there now. And you can see where this has so much versatility with that outer layer, the inner layer, or the combo. Now we're just going to do that last little inlay of the Y. And then we can go for our V-Day part. So I'm going to let that hold down, and I'm just going to scoot this ruler down so we can kind of get a good layout there. And I'm going to find the center of my word. Oops, I didn't do the center of my word. I should do that first. All right, so we glued that down. Hold that down. Oops, and it stuck the very end. Come on. Move it over a little bit. And then we're going to glue the day down. Put in between the two of them. But like I said, so far you've seen me use these dies for a cutout. You've seen me use them for an inlay. You've seen the outer layer being used. You saw the inner layer. There's like endless possibilities of sentiments you can use. You could get two different types of dies. You can get lowercase and uppercase. You can get number dies like this too. They do have the numbers in these variations too. So you can make first birthday cards, you know, happy 13th birthday. You know, how many times are you going to find a 13 birthday stamp out there, or a 13th birthday die? You're not. It's going to be hard to find. And that's the joys of having these letter stamps, these alphabet stamps, these alphabet dies is, like I said, you get freedom to do what you want to do a card for, versus being tied down to certain sentiments and certain words and repeating yourself a lot. Because a lot of these dies I feel are very repetitive in their words. Like love, you see it everywhere. There's no variation to it. There's so many different variations, different cursives, different blocks. You don't see block dies very much anymore in a combo. It's more cursive or connected to make a singular die. And they're great, don't get me wrong. But there's something about doing Happy V-Day that's so much more freeing than saying Happy Valentine's Day in a big die. You know, it's more fun and informal versus a very formal Valentine's die as you usually see. So have fun with these dies. You know, it's not a bad investment to put in your collection. And really, I like this one over the one that I showed last time for Lawn Fawn, because this one you get multiple variations in which you can use it. So if you want to do an outline word only, you can. If you want to do an inlay with two different layers so it looks like it has a shadow, you can. Without having to do some crazy stacking and crazy techniques to make that look. So it's really fun. Oh, and there's that one. And I just added little sequins around it, and you can sort of see a little pearlescent outline. I don't know if you can see it in this lighting or not. But it's kind of fun patchwork and inlay. So like I said, you get this freedom to do what you want with your card, inlay it the way you want. And with this kit, you get multiple variations that you can keep on using. You're not stuck to just one style of lettering. So it makes it more fun and more freeing, from patchwork to just stationery. So if you like this video, please check out our last uploaded video, as well as a video specially curated just for you. And like always, we welcome you to subscribe, like, ring for notifications with this icon, as well as check out our webpage as well as our blog on WordPress.